Welcome to the stock workout where we flex on the market to make gains. In this video I'm going to be talking about Plug Power, ticker symbol PLUG. Now I'm going to update you on this stock. There's been a bit of news that's come out. We're going to do a bit of chart analysis and I'm going to update you on institutional investment in this as well, as there have been quite a few changes since Friday when the news came out that their financial restatements were complete. But before I get into it, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and show some support. We're well on our way to 1k subscribers and that is the target. Now I've just previously recorded this video and my mic cut out, it wasn't working, and I realized after I finished recording, so I'm re-recording this once again. Now this did have a brilliant day on Friday. It was up almost 12%. It closed at $24.58. So it was quite a big increase. But before we get into the charts, let's go and see about this news. So Plug Power stock soars as restatement removes overhang of uncertainty. So revenue for 2020 gets a bump after restatement, but losses widen. So it says here, shares of Plug Power Inc. surged Friday after the hydrogen and fuel cell systems company completed its restatement, removing a shroud of uncertainty that has been weighing heavily on the stock in the past couple of months. Then if we go down here, it says from Friday, March the 16th through to Thursday, the stock had dropped 48.5%. So in the last couple of months, it has lost almost half of its value. Now, says here, the company filed its 10K annual report with the US Securities and Exchange Commission early on Friday. The company said that, as previously announced, the need to restate results was not a result of any misconduct or an override of internal controls. Now that's important because that means nothing was intentionally done wrong. It's a bit of an accounting error. It had a huge sell-off, which I don't think is fair, but it's not what investors want to see. So what the restatement changed was that it increased 2020 revenue by $7.2 million to negative $93.2 million, and it reduced 2019 revenue by about 300,000 and 2018 revenue by about 400,000. So meanwhile, 2020 losses widened by 10 cents a share to $1.68, and 2019 per share losses remained unchanged, and 2018 losses widened by 3 cents a share. Now, a message from the chief executive, Andy Marsh, said, "We pride ourselves on operating with integrity and transparency in everything we do, and we're pleased to put this matter behind us. As we anticipated, the required adjustments were non-cash and had no impact on our business operations or economics of our commercial arrangements." Now, the key word here is non-cash. So as we anticipated, the required adjustments were non-cash. Their cash amount, their cash balance remains the same. That's important so that they can continue growing and continue developing their hydrogen fuel cell technology. So this accounting error didn't even have an impact on their cash balance, and that is one of the main things that we do want to see as investors. So that's a good point. Now, an Evercore ISI analyst, James West, had the restatement was a so I think that's meant to say, James West said the restatement was a shroud of uncertainty hanging over Plug shares since the announcement was made in March. So it's good to see that's been cleared up. So West rates Plug outperform, and he set a $42 stock price target for this. So that was the news that came out. So their restatement's complete. Finally, that's something we've all been waiting to see. And what I'll do is I'll leave the link for this article in the description down below so you can take a look at it yourself. And now if we take a look at the stock price action. So if we take a look at the charts, first things first, I've got the 21-day EMA pulled up alongside the 50, 100 and 200-day moving average. I've got the volume on screen and I've also got the RSI. Now, with the RSI, anything over 70 is overbought, anything under 30 is oversold. Currently, the RSI is at 60. That would have been due to the huge increase in price that we have been seeing. So a lot of people have been picking up this stock. Not only people, institutions as well, and I'll get onto that later on in the video. So this is the hourly chart that I've got up. As you can see here, we had a flag formation formed this week. So from the 11th of May, you can see here we had a run up here, a compression of price action, flag formation here, and then we gapped up directly on Friday. As soon as 14th start pre-market, you can see we gapped up. and we held throughout the day. Now, a lot of people, a lot of retail investors would have been interested in this bit of news because for the past few months we have been waiting for their restatement, some news on their restatement or their restatement to be completed. And a lot of institutions did play ball here and they picked up, they bought on the dip. And I will show you that in a second, as I've mentioned. So flag formation here, we broke out of that flag formation this week and we gapped up straight away and we held that price. So $24.58 is where the stock closed out on Friday. Now volume for the day was almost double its 10-day average volume. So volume was at 82 million and its average 10-day volume was 46 million shares. So it was good to see that volume increased, picked up, and that the stock price was pushed higher. Now, the 21-day EMA, it was trading below all three moving averages, and this week, the 21-day EMA crossed over the 50-day moving average, and also it has just crossed over that 100-day moving average here. So that's a bullish sign. That is something we want to see. We still want to see that 21-day EMA go further and cross over that 200-day moving average, but this is a good indication here that the bulls are picking up and taking control. So that's a more microscopic perspective of this. Now, if I switch over to the daily chart, now, as you can see here, I've got the daily chart. What I've done is I've drawn a fib retracement on this daily chart covering quite a vast time period. So the time period I'm covering is from June 2020 all the way up until now because we've seen this huge run up in price. So I've drawn it from the bottom of this run up all the way till the peak. And basically, what I want to point out is that earlier this week, on the 11th of May, we bounced off that 78% Fibonacci retracement. So that over here is showing in at $19.03. I think on the macroscopic chart it did go down towards 17, but roughly it just pipped underneath here. But basically, it bounced off the 78% Fibonacci retracement. That's the takeaway from this. Now that is good to see because that 78 Fibonacci retracement, 78% Fib retracement acts like our level of support. And to see that that level of support was held, now we can hopefully hope for that price to bounce off that and now start a new uptrend. So the first level of support I would point out is around that $19. That's what I would have my support as. Currently we're trading at $24.58, but seeing as we did bounce off that, I mean after months of a decline, a downtrend, we have finally bounced off that. And then the news came out about the restatement, which will hopefully now push this stock further. So yeah, good to see we held that level of support. Now if I get rid of that fib retracement, on this daily chart, the 21-day EMA is trading under all three moving averages, so we do want to see that pick up on the daily chart. RSI is really low on the daily chart due to that huge sell-off. We've just been seeing it come down. RSI is currently sat at 43, so hopefully we'll pick up on that too. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to point out on this chart. That was the 78 fib retracement. We bounced off that, so that is a good indication. That is a level of support that we held. Finally, we have held a level of support and bounced off that. With the news coming out as well, that will act like a catalyst to push this higher. But let's go into the institutional investment now. Now, this is something that I want everyone to pay attention to. Look at ownership percentage. So Grove Energy Capital own 9.6% of the shares. So they're holding 9.6 ownership, right, in percentage. Now Vanguard, that's a name everybody knows, 9.14%. BlackRock, another institution, 10.7%. So just between Vanguard and BlackRock, they're holding almost 20% ownership of Plug Power. And what gets more interesting is if I scroll further down here, all of these institutions made some changes on the 14th. Now, the 14th was Friday, so when the news came out, all of these institutions made a change in their position. And what was the change? They picked up more shares. So as you can see here, if I just carry on scrolling down, all of these were made on the 14th of the 5th, 2021. All of these, right? 14th of 5th, 2021. Now, if I go back to the top here, So what I've done is I've put it so the ones that picked up the most shares percentage-wise are at the top. So Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management increased their position by 23,600%. They only bought 1,185 shares, but it shows that they increased their position quite vastly. But if we go down to a few names that people are probably more familiar with, so if we go further down here, LPL Financial increased their position by 66.35% on the 14th. So on Friday, once the news came out, they bought an additional 209,000 shares and 88 as well. So 209,088 shares they bought. Their average price is at $34.87. If we go further down, we can see Bank of America right here. They increased their position by 16.39%. So, given all the conditions, Plug Power has been on a huge sell-off. Almost 50% of its share price has is decreased by. Bank of America bought the dip. The news came out on Friday and they picked it up because they knew that from here on out it's only going up. Plug Power's cash, so their cash wasn't changed. They've still got that cash, their cash balance stayed the same. And after a financial restatement needs doing, that is one big point that gets highlighted. Does their cash change? And no, it didn't. So that is good to see. Bank of America picked up 16.39% more increased their shares, and they picked up an additional 577,303 shares. Their average price is at $34.88. Now, if you go a little bit more down, Vanguard. So Vanguard, who already own about 9 or 10% of Plug Power, they further increased their shares. So they picked up an additional 13.2% shares of the shares they already own. So they added 45,808,517 shares. Their average share price is at $34.88 as well. So even Vanguard is increasing the number of shares they hold. They increased it by 13.2%, and they increased this as soon as that news came out. As soon as the news came out that the restatement was complete and it didn't affect the cash balance of Plug Power, they picked up 13.2% more shares. So all they did, all of these institutions did is they just averaged down. Because look, Vanguard's average price is $34.88 and Plug Power's price is at $24.58. So they are in a loss. They've just averaged down and tried to reduce their losses because they believe in the company. They believe this is going to go back up. Now, if you go further down a little bit, even a British bank here, HSBC Holdings PLC, they increased their position by 4.2%. So they've got 194,834 shares and an average price of $34.76. So even they're in a loss. All of these institutions, most of them are in a loss and they've just been averaging down. Now that the restatement's complete, and it doesn't affect the cash balance, they believe in this company and they know that this is going to go back up. So as far as buy the dip goes, these institutions absolutely ripped it. They absolutely ripped that buy the dip phrase because that's what they all did. So hopefully that will increase some faith for those of you that do hold this stock and have been seeing yourself go into the minus. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of faith that big institutions are picking up more shares, and everyone, pretty much all of these institutions are in a loss. As you can see here, average share price. Only Northwestern is probably in the profit right now, but all of these others that I've shown you in this chart, they're all in a loss because their average price is around the $34 mark. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of confidence in this. And if you just follow the points that I mentioned, the 21-day EMA, you want to see that cross back over the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. On that hourly chart, I showed you that the flag formation, I showed you that we did gap up as well. Given the news came out, institution picked up shares, retail investors picked up shares, and we have held up to $24.58 now, up 12% on the day on Friday, and double the volume. So do keep an eye out on the volume also, as we do want to see that increase in the next few trading sessions as well. So there you have it. That's it for Plug Power. If you appreciate the video, drop it a like, subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you more content. Turn the notification bell on so that you will get the updates when and anything changes in these stocks as well. I will be releasing more videos on all of these stocks to give you updates and give you technical analysis. That's it for now. I'll see you on the next one.